Abby here from Lala Baby SOS, and I answer your sleep questions as often as I can here on my socials. And I wanted to talk today about when you get recommended to hold your reflux baby upright after a feed, and the knock-on effect that has on your baby's ability to self-settle or self-link through sleep cycles. So often parents are recommended that if you've got a reflux baby, it's really important that you hold your baby upright after their feed for about 20 minutes to let their tummy settle. And this way that will stop them from vomiting and just help their tummy calm down. But the flip side of this recommendations, although it might be nicer for your baby's tummy, is that your baby then learns some negative sleep associations, because essentially they are falling asleep on your shoulder or on your chest, and basically they're falling asleep in this upright position and then getting confused, because when they wake up and they're in their bed, they're going, hang on a second, where the hell am I? Okay, so I wanted to kind of debunk a couple of myths in there. And I will say that in the 20 years that I have been doing sleep consultations, I've never asked a parent of a reflux baby to hold their baby upright for 20 minutes after a feed overnight time. Because at night time, your baby's tummy and your baby produces lots of melatonin, lots of sleep hormones, and essentially everything slows down and calms down overnight time. So when that's happening, the same thing happens with their tummy. So they are less likely to be fussy or symptomatic of the reflux as much at nighttime as they would be during the day. So what I recommend is that when you do your overnight feeds, you get them up, feed them to full, but not to sleep. And I've talked about this several times in many of my videos that you can just go back and check out. Once they've finished their feed, I would generally change the nappy, give them a cuddle, and pop them back into their cot. Now, with reflux babies, I do tend to tuck them in quite securely, because tucking them in can stop them from thrashing around, kicking their legs and arching and things like that. And it essentially gives them that feeling of pressure that they would have if they were upright like this, okay? With their cot, I would generally use a book about this thick under the feet of, both sides. I just stick a book like that underneath. Now, we're not looking for a huge amount of elevation. We're just looking for that thick, that much elevation. Okay, there is I guess some people will say that elevating the cot works. Some people will say that elevating the cot doesn't work, okay? So it is circumstantial evidence, as that's the word I wanted to say, circumstantial evidence to say that it's a placebo effect. But for me, I'm on the theory that if I've had a massive big dinner, I would much rather be chilled like that than like that, okay? So if I feel uncomfortable, if I've got a full tummy, if I feel uncomfortable flat on my back, then I'm going to say it's fair to say that my baby's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable, okay? So my theory is I'm just going to elevate it. It's no harm if I do, no harm, no foul if I don't, okay? The next thing I would say about settling, and so overnight, I definitely think don't worry about holding your baby upright. I really don't think that they need it, okay? During the day, when you're holding your baby upright after a feed, generally you'll feed them and then you'll put them on your lap and you'll hold them upright. Now, you're not generally going to hold them up like this. I would recommend, if you haven't already seen my video on burping your baby, go back and have a look about the way that I like to burp babies, okay? But usually I give them a burp, and then once they're finished having their burp, instead of holding them on my lap for the next 20 minutes, I try to give them some space to get their own tummy comfortable. So the best place for that is usually in their little bouncer chair. So I don't turn it on. I just basically put them in their bouncer chair, and I would much rather, if you're wanting to hang out and play with them and comfort them, I'd much rather sit down beside the bouncer chair and talk to them and interact with them instead of having them on my lap. And the reason I recommend that is because when they're on your lap, they're more likely to be like this sometimes, you know, where they're just a bit hunched over, or that you will move them up over your shoulder, and then we'll put them here, and then we might move them this way, and then, oh, I've got to pick something off the floor. And all of this moving around just obviously sloshes around that milk, and they're more likely to vomit, especially if we're like picking them up or walking around and we're putting this pressure on here. Now, I don't know anybody who can sit still for 20 minutes and just hold their baby like this for 20 minutes, okay? So everyone's generally moving around a little bit, and especially if you've got toddler in tow, okay? So generally after the daytime feeds, pop them in the bouncer chair. That's going to help them settle their tummy. You will find they'll wiggle around in their bouncer chair a little bit, but essentially that's them just moving their milk and getting themselves comfortable. So I hope that advice helps. I think that it'll maybe put some concerns at ease, and for some people who are really struggling with whether or not it's a good idea to be holding their baby upright, I say give it a go and see if it makes a difference with your baby's sleep and settling. Now, if you're looking for some support or advice, by all means you can jump on and book an introductory call with myself. I'm running some workshops with Eve Health over the next couple of months, so you can check them out, or we can do individual consultations. It's up to you guys. Any questions, any feedback, hit me in the messages. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If there's a particular thing that you'd like me to do a video about, let me know in the comments below, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care and have a great night. Bye-bye.
Good job.